You're listening to the Luxe Lounge Podcast, the official podcast of urban luxe real estate. And now, here are your hosts, Joe and Dave.
Welcome to episode 17 of the Luxe Lounge Podcast. This is Joe Pascali. My partner in crime, Dave Westbrook, is stepping out for a cup of coffee. I thought I would start without him. What we want to talk about today is why you want to live in Arizona. We're just going to tell some stories about where we go. I've lived in different states. I lived in Chicago, which is not a state, obviously. I lived in Seattle. I lived in LA. And great things about all three cities. I grew up more in Arizona probably than anywhere else and came back when I had kids because it's easy. Sun is shining every day. You don't have to worry about the weather. You know you're going to get. Pretty affordable city to live in, easy to travel around in. So you can get kind of across the entire city in about 45 minutes. Lots of employment here. I've got two sons, and my 20-year-old likes to bounce around in jobs. And he's unemployed for about 4 hours at a time because the second he gives up one job and get another one. And I have tradespepeople here that cannot find work. So one of the nice things about his employment here in Arizona, I was talking to our friend Tony, and Dave just walked in. And Tony's the same referral from Dave, old-time friends. And Tony's a cabinet guy. Tony is installing cabinets by himself because he can't find employment, people to work for him. So we've talked about great weather, easy travel, commute times, lots of jobs. Schools, we have some of the best schools in the country now. We have a charter system here that's a positive and negative for some people, depends on their political views. However, you can't deny that, basis the year that my son graduated their high school was number one high school in the country at the time and awarded every single graduate a full scholarship to college. So we always had a weak education system here in Arizona. Now we don't. And what I really kind of want to talk about was why, as far as location and the places you can go. Again, great living by the beach in California, but there's a lot that goes with it with the traffic and the price and everything else. And boy, Dave, you're going to jump on him and have you go right into a summer in Newport, which he can do because we're so close.
Yeah, my wife grew up in Newport Beach. We've been going out there ever since before my daughter was born, but consistently for usually about 2 to 4 weeks every year. And we rent a house on Balboa Island, which is a little man-made island out there that kind of some cute little cottage beach houses and Duffy boats and all that kind of stuff. But we go, and I think it's probably one of the best family vacation spots. You go to San Diego quite a bit.
Yeah, we do Coronado Island off San Diego.
Yeah, so what I love about Newport is you can rent the little electric Duffy boats and kind of cruise around the harbor. It gets the kids out on the water and just nice little, wine and cheese or snacks and that kind of stuff, and go look at some of the bigger boats and some of the bigger beach houses that they've got out there. And then they have so much beach there. It's just massive from boardwalk to beach, and you guys playing sand volleyball, good waves, you go surfing. We're going to get the kids into surf camp this year, which will be super fun.
That's cool.
But there's something for everybody in Newport. Tons of bars and restaurants. We can rent boats, parasailing, all the fun stuff. You can do day trips to Catalina, which I think you've done before.
Sure.
And so we're excited. This year we're going for 5 weeks.
Wow. Yeah, I do. I do Manhattan Beach a lot and Hermosa Beach up by LA. And then I do Coronado. But one of the reasons why it works so well is that you're gone for 5 weeks, but if you have a client, it's so easy to get back to Phoenix.
It is. Flight's only just about an hour. Or if you just jump in the car, you're here in, 5.5 hours.
Yeah. So when, the trip out, we usually bring the car. So we have all the stuff for the kids, the boogie boards, all that type of stuff. Although now we're going to places where they have all that stuff kind of included so we can fly in. But my goal is to hop in a plane. 3 hours later, I'm in the hotel. I just flew there, took an Uber to the hotel. The hotel is all encompassing as far as the amenities it has for the boogie boards and the private beaches and breakfasts. And I don't want to drive when I'm there. So Coronado has a trolley system. That's one of the things we love about it there is that there's really one main street and there's not too much to do. So you don't feel like you have to do too much. So we make our way to the beach in the morning, in the afternoon, typical kid stuff, having burritos and tacos and pizzas and whatnot. We've got our favorite little ice cream places we go to and sushi places at night, but we don't drive. So once we're there, we're just on that trolley. Hermosa Beach, Manhattan, kind of the same thing. Rent a beach cruiser for the week. We'll kind of just rent a beach cruiser when we first get there. We'll get 3 of them for the family, and we'll park those at the hotel. And for the rest of the time, we're just taking our bikes places.
Yeah, that's kind of how we're set up in Newport as well. We ride bikes almost everywhere. We'll get everything stocked up. We actually keep a whole set of bikes out at my wife's grandma's house.
Oh, cool.
And we store a bunch of stuff out there so that we can, once we're there, we're there. And we only have to, I don't like to get in the car more than once or twice a week if we have to.
Yeah. And, we will do that trip now and then if we have to take a car, if we're going to go into Legoland or Disneyland or any land.
Yeah.
Although I can't take Mila to SeaWorld, her dad would get upset.
Oh,
Nothing against Carl. But, we understand there's pluses and minuses, well, mainly negatives to captive mammals that do tricks for fish.
Right. Doesn't sound great when you put it like that, right? Let's go see the captive mammals that do tricks for fish.
It sounds good though when you're going there. It's just kind of fun.
Right. Yeah.
But so stuff we kind of grew up on, and California is opening back up, so I'm really excited about that. We went last year when it was closed. The Hotel Del in Coronado had part of the hotel open, but a lot of restaurants there were closed. We did a lot more walking than we chose to. Didn't really get to eat the places we normally would because they were closed. This year, from what I hear, it's all wide open.
I think there's supposed to be, if it isn't already, it was by like June 15th or something like that it was going to be.
Yeah, Disney's already partially opened. We know that. And again, these are fun things. These are one of the reasons you live in Arizona is actually California and Mexico and other cities you want to go to. They're extremely easy to get to, extremely affordable. Boy, it was funny. I had my daughter had a little staycation with some of her friends. Another thing we do in Arizona here is some of the really great resorts that are insanely expensive during season get cheaper in the summer, and we do staycations there. So we did a staycation at the Desert Ridge Marriott. It's a JW, beautiful hotel, lazy river, everything kind of want from that, golf courses, and had some girls over from her school and to spend the night, and they were just doing the virgin daiquiris and acting like Hollywood glamour stars.
Living their best life.
Living their best life by the pool while I was paying for it. And but they were talking about, my last trip to Cabo. And when you're talking to 10-year-old girls who have just traveled, and a lot of it's Mexico. It's easy to do. We have a lot of friends, and I have family members and clients that have places in Mexico. It's not crazy expensive. There's some better laws now on being able to have ownership down there. And it's a quick getaway. I mean, Rocky Point's probably the only one people drive to.
Yeah, I don't think the airport there is
not open.
Yeah. So, and that's like 4.5 hour drive?
4.5 hour drive.
From door to water?
Yep. Exactly. From door to water. And, down in Rocky Point, you're going to see really nice condo setups with private gates, private guards. Again, it's still Mexico. There's some issues there, obviously. I have had a couple where, I was pulled over by pickup trucks full of masked men with machine guns, and they were the police. So once I understood they were the police, I wasn't as scared. But I guess they wear masks so that they don't have retaliation from cartels and all kinds of stuff. And it sounds bad, but once you're on the water, it's great.
It is. We used to rent houses in Las Conchas down there, which is a really nice community. And the houses were big. I mean, we would rent some of these, 5,000-6,000 square foot houses that were relatively inexpensive. And you get, you just lock in there and hang out. You're right on the water. And I know like even the resorts and stuff down there now, the swim up bars and all that stuff is real easy. I haven't been down there in years.
Oh yeah, I've been down. My sister has a place. My parents had a place there. My wife's parents have a place there. So it's easy to do because it's so close. And again, once you stay on the beach and you kind of stay on your private beach in your private community, you don't really worry about everything else going on around you. It's a lot of fun. The water's amazing.
Yeah, some friends of ours that we've known for a long time, his family owns El Presidente, that really good restaurant that's up on the hill overlooking the bay.
Sure.
Man, we need to get down there.
I know. Yeah, now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, what am I doing? Because it is easy, and when you live in Phoenix, it's not uncommon to hear people taking 3-4 day vacations. I mean, they didn't do it when I lived in Seattle. I lived in LA. I lived in Chicago. I did not see people just taking off for 4 days. It was just so hard to travel out of those cities. The airports weren't close. The airports were packed. Boy, you're in and out of Phoenix. I'm never waiting in line at Phoenix Airport. Sky Harbor is just such a nice airport now.
Very efficient.
Yeah, and the restaurants, Terminal 3, all new restaurants in there. The big restaurants you see downtown Phoenix here or in the nice areas, you're seeing duplicated within the hotel or within the airport.
That was one of my favorite things that they did. I wish more airports would do that and bring in the local restaurants to be the airport restaurants.
I thought that was just a genius on their part because if you get a delay, you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm like, we'll just grab a margarita at Barrio Queen.
Which we do here at the office all the time.
Right.
Visit us. But again, easy to get in and out of. There's no real reason to not take a trip here. I'm doing I've got to go to Nebraska in October, and it's a 2-day drive. And we're like, well, we really don't want to drive for 2 days. What's the best way to do? We have to fly to Denver, rent a car, and drive for 4 hours to get to this town, Nebraska. It just sounds ridiculous to me.
We're
not in the right state. We fly to a different state to get there.
Oh man, that's crazy.
So we're very lucky here, and anybody we're talking to that's outside of Phoenix kind of doesn't understand how quick and fast. Because even my son, he's at Berkeley, and it's like an hour and a half to get to the airport. I mean, it's an ordeal,
right?
And you don't look forward to it.
Well, and I think, as it starts to heat up here, it makes it real easy you're like, you want to get out of here for 4 days. So if you can, and hey, we'd be in California in 5 hours. Let's go.
I will tie vacation and Arizona living and real estate all in one bow and say, in August, it's so hot that anybody with money is not here. The people that are here, it's because their kids just started school, because school starts the first week of August. So real estate kind of dies down because of the fact that people that had to move for schools have already moved, and everybody else is in California.
Right. It pains me that we still start school in August.
It is still so hot. It's perfect time to stay in California.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm not sure why. Because the water's really, June, the water really isn't warm yet.
We've been out, when we're out there in June, it's not too bad. But, especially the kids, they can be blue-lipped and freezing, but they're still in it.
Yeah. Shivering all the way to the hotel. But yeah, so, again, this was kind of what do we do here in Arizona? Realistically, when you live here, how do you get through the heat? We leave.
Right. Yeah, it would be really hard to be here all summer. I don't think, even last summer was tough because we only left for 2 weeks and to go to Newport, and with quarantine and everything else happening, it was just tough to be here in the heat.
Yeah, I'm going, again, talking about how easy it is to travel here. I am going to Hawaii next month. I think we're going to do, that's in June. I think in July, we're doing California. In August, I'm going to Bozeman, Montana. In October, I'm in Nebraska. In November, I'm up northern Arizona. We'll talk about northern Arizona next. We have licenses to sell real estate in the White Mountains and the Prescott area, and that can bring you all the way to Flagstaff and Sedona. So we are understanding that our clients have kind of spread out, and they're typically the Phoenix client that has a second home. And second homes have been popular, but they are extremely popular because of COVID. People are not vacationing; they're buying second homes.
I would love second home up in Flag. That would be something that we might look at when we get back from California. This is going up and spending a week or so in Flag.
Yeah.
Just bouncing around northern Arizona.
And Flagstaff, sleepy college town. Go Lumberjacks. The buyer we have there now, and the restaurants we have there now. I mean, the restaurant tours from Phoenix are opening up there, and so you're getting better restaurants, more nightlife. It's less student oriented than ever, and the prices are reflecting it. Condos, and starting in the 400s, so nothing's cheap.
And there's nothing available up there. I mean, there's not a lot of options to buy in Flag.
Yeah, and you'll hear if you're in Arizona, you hear about Flagstaff. You hear Munns Park, Forest Highlands, and Munns Park. Forest Highlands, the golf community. You got to be part of the club, so it's a little more expensive. Typically, a millionaire kind of club.
Yep.
Up there, but young families. I mean, they're having a struggle right now with. They had banned razors and whatnot, and now they just can't because the young families. That's all they want to drive with, and they're up there. It used to be golf carts. Now it's the side by sides.
Oh yeah. Well, there, Forest Highlands is great. Pine Canyon's really nice as well. And then Munns Park is definitely nicer, or definitely a good spot for. They've got a golf course there as well.
Yep.
Friend of mine's got a cabin on the lake up there, which is nice. And it's a little closer, about 20 minutes south of Flagstaff, so you can be door to door a little bit faster.
Yeah, a little less traffic. Don't have to go up the hill because in the winter between Munns Park and Flagstaff, there's a very steep hill. And when that ices up, you don't want to be driving early in the morning, late at night. But Munns Park, boy, they're and the prices are really all over the place. I mean, because they have everything from ground set mobiles, which don't sound nice, but they're actually nice when they're up there, all the way up to multi-million-dollar cabins.
Yeah,
the same community.
One of my Artie, my home inspector's got a place up there, and he bought a lot a few years back, and then he put a brand new mobile home or manufactured home on it, and he said it's great. It's a very inexpensive way to get in and have that second home up.
Oh, sure. Those little A-frame we're looking at for family up there and seeing if they're going to release it. The person passed away, and that's one way we get real estate, right? Is wait till someone dies. Sorry to say it that way, but they're dying to sell. We get up there and trying to grab that, but their family's fighting over it. I mean, no one wants to give. It's a little A-frame. It's like 900 square feet. But that's great for the weekend.
Absolutely. And you want to be outside when you're up there anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, and those A-frames are great. They push the snow off, and you don't worry about that because they do get snow up there. People don't think about it, but if you're in Phoenix, I would always laugh that when we were kids, you could be skiing in the morning and swimming in your pool in the afternoon because hour and a half, 2.5 hours, depends on where you want to go to a ski resort, and they're not Vail.
Right.
But you got up there a couple times this year.
Yeah, we did. We got the kids skiing this year, which was nice up at Snowbowl. We're actually leaning towards checking out Big Bear this summer.
Oh, yeah. The Big Bear.
There's a few different lakes over there and just something different, get it. That's a little bit more kids jumping off the dock and that kind of stuff and, not so beachy. But Snowbowl, the challenge that we always have with Flag, we've talked about, there's not a lot of water up there.
No.
So it's really hard to find a house on the water or find a lake that, kids can go swim in and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, up in the White Mountains, we've got Lakeside. Obviously, those are houses on the lake, and there's cottages. And we just sold a resort that was, cabins on the lake.
Yeah.
Lori sold that one, and that was a few months back. So the opportunity's there. And where we talk about the White Mountains, we're really moving northeast through Payson up towards New Mexico. And a bunch of towns out there, Pine Top, Greer, Heber.
Globe.
Yep. Globe, not so much. I want to stay there on the weekend. Globe's a mining town. We have quite a few mining towns out here where we're the copper state, and there's still a lot of copper mining going on. So you don't really want to be in a mining town. But Pine Top's beautiful, and I'm going to be, that's where I'm going to be up in November, up in that area.
I was just talking with some friends a month or so ago about like how Pine Top could really become like the next Aspen, like for Arizona. If they would just develop that area a little bit more.
It's beautiful. It's just a little far from Phoenix. So you're talking about, that extra couple hours where you can get to Flag pretty easily. But Flagstaff with the traffic, a lot of people are not doing it. And then we have clients right now, and we'll talk about one of John's clients. He found out that there's, in Pine Top, there's commuter planes that just all they do is shuttle people back and forth from Phoenix. So, yeah. So when he's up there, he'll drive up there on the weekend, but they'll stay up for a week or so. And every time he's got to come down, instead of driving down, he just commuter flights.
Interesting. That's a nice way to get up there.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. because, and it's not very expensive. I think he pays like $90 a trip or something each way.
It's probably like a 30-minute flight.
Yeah. So if you have to come to work, because again, the nice part about you being in Newport for a month is if you've got a client, you're right back to town.
Yeah.
We were talking about the Suns being in the playoffs.
I know. It's exciting stuff.
Yeah. And you like, yeah, I'll just come in. I'm going to be in Hawaii. It's a little harder to get in. But in Newport, you just fly back.
Cruise in, yeah.
Yeah. And you can realistically leave right after the game and you're right back to Newport. I mean, you're minutes from Balboa.
Oh, yeah. And Balboa is only like 10 minutes from the airport.
Yeah. That's not the John Wayne anymore. What do they call that one?
It is John Wayne.
Is it still John
Yep.
Wayne? Oh, they're thinking about changing the name.
Well,
John Wayne's views in California just don't match anymore.
yeah. But it's Newport, so it's not quite like the rest of it.
Yeah. But the idea there that, when you're here, everywhere is accessible. Our flights are cheap. We travel a lot. If you're a Phoenix person with the means to get out during the heat, a lot of people are worrying that, well, if I get there, what am I going to do? Well, when you get here, you leave. You plan it. August is not a time that you're going to stay in town. And as a realtor, I got a good realtor story. There was one time I was in, I got a call from an agent. She goes, hey, can we meet and go over this contract? Because I had sent her a contract earlier that morning. She said, I'd love to discuss it with you. I said, well, unfortunately, I'm in Carlsbad. And she said, what beach in Carlsbad? And we ended up being on the exact same beach. She was talking about having a phone conversation. And I'm like, well, and we just walked towards each other and did the deal on an iPad.
That's awesome.
Because every realtor in town is
gone.
Pretty much in California
Right.
in August. Yeah. And that's one town. Carlsbad's where we would go when the kids were smaller. We still love the village, and that's what they call Carlsbad Village. That's a great little village to go to. It's just far from airports, so it's a great destination to drive to. Because you're not just going to Uber from an airport over there. Because north of that's Camp Pendleton. That's a huge Marine base. Takes up a lot of land. Above that's Dana Point and whatnot, but it's not really an airport all the way to
John Wayne.
Yeah. Or go all the way down
to downtown San Diego.
Yeah. And I took that 20 years ago. It was a $75 cab ride. I can't imagine what it'd be now. And that was every dime I had. But the funny story is we used to go to John Wayne and we check in our surfboards. Like they put them in the coat closet in the plane. Like we didn't check them down baggage claim. We took them on the plane with us.
Oh, interesting.
Because the planes were like empty. And you could get like a round trip for like $100. Again, I'm old. So, but back in the day, we would go surfing all the time. So if you're living in Arizona, your kids don't have to miss that surf experience. Like you said, you're putting your kids in surf camp. I've been trying to get Mila to get in surf camp. My boys weren't real surfers, but loved a lot of boogie boarding. But they didn't miss that experience. In fact, I've taken Massimo free dive spearfishing because it was so cool.
That's right. Yeah.
You want to go you make the appointment, you get out there on the weekend or whatnot, and you're only a couple hours from home. You get all the stuff there. We have friends that we can keep stuff at. Like you said, you're keeping bikes there, and those are invaluable friends that have a little bit of a backyard.
Absolutely. Makes it easy.
Yeah. I would made friends with a couple people to leave my surfboards there because we always had surfboards in Carlsbad. And Carlsbad story, it's years and years and years later. I'm an adult. I've got children of my own. One of my friends back in high school age, he lived in Carlsbad, and I had a couple surfboards stocked at his house. And I looked him up and I said, his name is Billy. I go, Billy, boy, I want to come by the house and pick up my boards. And he starts laughing. He's like, you think those are still around? He goes, I think I made tables out of them or something. And but he just said, come swing by. And he had this great little bungalow about a half a block from the beach. It was his dad's house. He was living in it now. And I went to go check it out. And I said, where's your house? There's a triplex here. He said, yeah, with the California prices, we tore down the bungalow because we couldn't afford the taxes, built a triplex, sold two of them, and I live in one. So just with the taxes there in California, he couldn't afford to keep his dad's house without selling part of the property off. No, it was a beautiful triplex. The guy's still living well. And he's a half a block from the beach. So again,
Can't argue that.
yeah, he can hear waves when he goes to sleep at night. But, having that kind of tax problem that issue where when they transfer the taxes, because there they reset taxes upon each sale. So when his father transferred the property to him, reset the taxes, he can no longer afford that new tax rate. In Arizona, our taxes are not reset per sale. They change yearly by your subdivision.
Correct. Small percentage, yeah.
Yeah.
Not by too much at all.
No, I mean, I've sold clients, $1 million homes, and the taxes are $4,000 a year. It depends on where you are and what year it was built.
I've seen some, I was shocked at some of these property taxes up in like McDowell Mountain Ranch, some of these 2-story houses, like $7,000 a year.
Yeah.
Which, even Paradise Valley, some houses aren't even that much.
I think that the aspect of Paradise Valley is that it's an older neighborhood, so the prices were set originally off the original sale back in 1972 or 68 when the house was originally built. So they've incrementally gone up by the neighborhood. Whereas McDowell Mountain Ranch has brand new construction going on land that was never developed before, right down the street in Wingate and
yeah,
outside of Hunter Hills. And so this brand new construction on undeveloped land is where the tax base starts at and affects everybody else.
Interesting. Did not know that.
Yep. So newer neighborhoods, higher taxes.
Makes sense.
Yep. That's why it's good to do what you're doing. You buy in an established neighborhood, knock the house down, and then pay contractors through the nose and hope they show up.
Yeah.
How's that coming, by the way?
We're holding off for a little bit right now. I think you just showed me that picture of some 2x4s for $116 each.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. So I've got a family member, and he has a great remodel company called Fix Phoenix. We'll give him a little plug. And he just sent me a picture, $116.50 for a sheet of plywood. And that's 1 1/4 inch plywood, 4x8.
That I saw that like 2 weeks ago. It was $96, so it's up $10.
Yeah, and they said steel's going up too, and we're going to open another Urban Luxe office. Woohoo!
Woo!
We're trying to get that build out done, and you got to use steel for walls there. You can't use for commercial. You can't use 2x4s. You got to use steel inside the walls, and the bids are just shocking to get it done.
Yeah, the first one made me say we're not doing it.
Yeah, just by the cost of materials, and the contractors we know and trust, but just the cost of materials. And my brother-in-law there, Eric, Fix Phoenix, he was telling me that he goes, I got to redo all my jobs. He goes, jobs I'm literally on right now, I've got to rebid while I'm doing the job because material prices keep going up. And he was going to re-shingle a house with ABS, and he goes, I think my costs are up $800 from the time I bid the job to when I went shopping for the materials. And he goes, it's a really small job, but $800, he can't afford to eat that.
100%. No, I mean, and I think that's why a lot of home builders are not posting prices because they don't know where they're going to be by the time they're ready to build.
Yeah. I think some of the smarter builders out there, and we were talking to one last week, and they're building specs instead of customs for people. So track builder, but usually you get to go in there and they say, okay, your house will be ready in 13 months and you're going to get to pick all the finishes. They're not doing that. They're bringing it all the way to the point of finishes. So all you got to do is pick countertops and flooring, and they sell the house at that point, and you just make your choice of flooring and countertops, and the house is done 3 weeks later. But they can control the prices that way, and they can raise the prices.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people were. I heard that a lot of builders were doing that.
Fulton Homes willing to buy back. So if you're in contract with them on a home, they'll give you all your money back if you want to back out because they can resell that house for more money.
Interesting.
Which is not what they're saying. They're saying because there's a tight inventory, people that don't want a home, we're going to give the opportunity to give it to somebody that does. But realistically, they're going to raise the price.
100%.
I would.
It is a business, right?
Yeah, and again, people keep thinking this is just like 2005, 2006. It's nothing like 2005, 2006. We've been through that market. There was plenty of inventory. There were just more buyers, and that was because the investors getting zero down loans, and we're really not seeing that. We're seeing tons of cash in the market. We're seeing tons of equity. Even if there was a foreclosure issue, the market would probably suck that right up.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, we could take on another 2,000 homes.
Right.
Today, and it'd be gone.
Yeah. We should have 16 to 18,000 homes right now. So when we have less than 3,000, it's kind of scary. And people think, well, it's great to be a realtor. Well, it's really not. I mean, think about being a person that sells anything. You'd be at a grocery store. If you only got one loaf of bread to sell and you can't sell it because you need something on the shelf, it doesn't make people happy when they walk in your store and go, okay, you have nothing for me to buy. And that's kind of, one of the marketing programs here, a lot of them, most of them are focused for realtors, is do you want more buyers? And no. Right? I need a seller. We need something to sell them. So it isn't, people come and I think I'm going to go to Arizona and be a realtor. Well, so is everybody else.
Yeah. Join the club. But at least at Urban Lux, you can be a good one.
Yeah. And if you are a realtor, and now I put a plug in for Urban Lux, we do really want you to take your family vacations. We want you to be able to pay for them. So we want to get you successful enough that you can take that vacation. And we have plenty of agents over here that help you get through those vacations so you can go and turn your phone off for a while. And it's part of our company program to make sure you have a full life. And part of that includes being able to take vacations. And it's a little different because in our industry, usually with the second you're out, you're losing money. We make sure that doesn't happen for you. Dave's going to get to leave for, like you said, 5 weeks, and you're probably going to make more money by being relaxed, sitting there and having other people do your work for you.
That's how it usually goes.
Definitely a lot easier. Yeah. And every agent here, gets to take their vacations, and we want to make sure that happens. And they have that full life and happy family. We got agents right now at all stages. Some just out of college, some having their, expand their families with second, third babies, buying their first homes. It's a great life here. So if you are a realtor and you're thinking about coming over, give us a call. I think we're going to wrap up with that. So Dave, why don't you give them our information?
480-359-6519 or email us at info@urbanlux, that's luxere.com.
You guys have a good week. We'll talk to you at episode 18.
Have a great day. Happy summer.
Thank you for listening to the Luxe Lounge Podcast, the official podcast of Urban Lux Real Estate, located in Old Town Scottsdale, Arizona. If you'd like to support the show, please give us a 5-star review on your podcast player of choice, follow the show on Instagram, or subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you have questions for Joe and Dave, feel free to write in to luxloungepod@gmail.com. We may talk about your question on the show. If you would like to learn more about Urban Lux Real Estate, please visit our website, urbanluxre.com, for more information. This podcast was produced by T-Door Productions. Intro music by Doug Maxwell. Outro music by Track Tribe.